Hey, 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 Nikki Brown here. No matter where you are and what part of the world you are in, I hope that you are having a good day. I don't like the energy of this, but I am going to put this video out. Um, a lot of people are putting this information out, and I think the more information is released, the faster this will be resolved. Apparently, Nancy Grace is now aware of this case, and she'll probably have it resolved before even the FBI does. That's how good she is at what she does. They're calling them the Cabo Six. A young lady by the name of Shanquella Robinson. She was a famous entrepreneur out of Charlotte, North Carolina. She had her own salon. She specialized in kids' braids. And apparently, she also had timeshares, and she would book travel vacations for people and earn an income off of that. If she wasn't already a millionaire, she was on her way to be one. The other six people she went to college with, seemingly their businesses failed. They just worked regular jobs. One of the alleged reports is that they all did, PPP loans. She was able to make money off of hers, and the rest of them, again, their businesses failed, or there's at least one or two of them, potentially their businesses failed. Again, they all went to college together. Dejanay, if I'm not mistaken, her last name is Jackson, is the one seen fighting Shanquella in the video. She was posted up by the patio doors. Now, the night before, Shanquella's walking around. She's excited about the trip. She's like, oh, where y'all at, hoes? It don't take that long to get naked. Because it seems that the plan was for them to all go skinny dipping. When she got in the room, all of the ladies were talking off by themselves without her. And it doesn't seem that the guys were in the room either. Um, Potentially those two guys, Malik and Khalil, were dating. Malik, I think they said, mm, or maybe it's Mr. Wiggins who came the next day because he missed his flight and he had a layover in Texas. But anyway, there are a lot of different rumors, but what seems to have taken place was a plan before they left Charlotte to go to Mexico and fight this girl, post it on the gram, and become Instagram famous. They did not realize, and this is just my interpretation of everything that I know about the case. They didn't realize she wouldn't fight back. And I really don't think the plan was to take her out. Again, I think the plan was to embarrass her. Because Dejanay stepped back. Now, she's still pumped up with adrenaline. She took a step back and she said, I'm sick of your SHIT. The others who were recording, now they're standing by the door, so she can't go out the patio doors or out the door to her room because it seems like they were in her master suite. Some say they potentially drugged her the night before, but if she went skinny, she ended up going skinny dipping by herself, and she said it was fun. So she recorded herself going skinny dipping in the pool the night before by herself. And her mom said she was known for sleeping in the nude. So if she went skinny dipping, she may have taken a shower and just gotten to bed because she doesn't wear pajamas to bed. She would sleep in the nude because that's how she felt comfortable. People are saying, oh, well, why was she naked? Why does that matter? If she felt comfortable sleeping in the nude and you don't, it's okay. That shouldn't be the question. I don't even understand why that's a question. So it seems that the sun was rising. You can tell by the shadow that was cast along the wall behind them. So it seems the sun was rising. So we are going to say it was potentially between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. Mexico time, right? Which is the same as California or Pacific Standard Time, and that's about 3 hours difference from the East Coast. So it's about 10 o'clock in the morning, East Coast time, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, right? It seems, again, if she slept in the nude, they woke her up out of her sleep. Some people are saying that she was potentially drugged, but there was no alcohol in her system. I'm not sure if they tested for any other type of substances that may have been put in her food or drink. So the night before, they did all have tacos together. And some people are saying that there specifically was a bottle for Shanquella. So again, this seems like this was a plan before they left Charlotte, and that other people in Charlotte knew about it and were potentially waiting for this video to be posted. And again, it seems the plan was to humiliate and embarrass her, and it went wrong. This plan went wrong. They may even potentially wanted to rob her, but I don't think that was the plan initially. That may have come after the fact once they realized that she was no longer here. Okay, so Dejanay, she's the one who was throwing the blows. Again, they did not realize that she wasn't going to fight back, which is why you can hear Malik saying, at least try to fight back, Quilla, because they thought it was going to be a bad girls fight. Again, so they could post it on the gram and become Instagram famous. Apparently, one of the girls was on FaceTime and somebody else was potentially posting it on live on the gram. In the meantime, Shanquella's sister got a word that they were fighting Shanquella in Cabo and called the mom and told her. They then, again, Dejanay stepped back in her fighting stance and said, I'm sick of your SHIT. She's still pumped up full of adrenaline. She's not realizing what's going on, but the other ones who had the camera and were recording realized something's wrong once they saw her head slumped over. Once they saw Shanquella's head slumped over, and they stopped recording. And some are saying that they tried to delete the live from Instagram, but people had already seen it. You know, when you go live, people instantly start tuning in. So again, word had already got back to Charlotte that they were fighting her. According to one or two of the medical experts, once so they broke her neck. Her neck was severely severed, and her spinal cord was damaged. Right. So once her neck and her back were broken, right, and her neck was severely broken. Once that happens, especially since her head was slumped over, after 15 minutes, because they said she was deceased 15 minutes after her injuries. Once her neck was broken and she was sitting in that slumped over position, her breathing was restricted and she could no longer breathe, and that is what caused her to lose her life. We are not sure if the Cabo 6 called the medics or if the maid who found her called the medics, because they're saying the maid found her. So if the maid found her, that would mean that the Cabo 6 did not call the medics, or they called the medics and bribed them to falsify the story, um, or they convinced them because maybe they did the English translations. Maybe there was um, maybe some of the information got lost in translation because their story is she died from alcohol poisoning. So if they told the police and the nurse, oh, she had too much alcohol, they may have potentially gone with the story and said, okay, whatever. Either, again, there may have been a translation issue, they may have bribed them, or when the nurse and maybe the police got there, maybe they stole her money and they were trying to cover that up. Those are three of the stories that are circulating around. Why did the nurse and the police lie on the report? Now, this is what it seems to me though. Once they realized something was wrong, they stopped recording. They deleted the Instagram, Facebook, whatever they posted on, right? I think they all got scared and thought of this story. Khalil called Shanquella's mother, because he was allegedly her best friend, and said she had too much to drink. She has alcohol poisoning. Now, Shanquella's mom said they told her Shanquella had alcohol poisoning before they called a medic. He then asked her for $5,000 because he said you need $5,000. She said, has she seen anybody? He said no, because you need $5,000 in order to be seen. Now we don't know if he meant $5,000 US or 5,000 Mexican pesos, which is about $250. Right? So Shanquella's dad is saying that he sent over the money because this is his only daughter, his only child, and he didn't even know. It seems that he didn't know she was in Mexico, but she would travel all the time. The mom knew and the sister knew, but they didn't all live together, so he didn't know. He knew that she had her travel business, so she would travel all the time. So her being out of the country was not you know new, but he didn't know that she was in Mexico that time. They were only supposed to be there for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And again, she had a travel business where she would rent out her timeshare to people and make money off of it. And it was Dejanay's birthday. So she booked the Verbo. It was a huge house, for Dejanay's birthday, so that they could have fun. It was nothing to her to spend that $10,000 because, again, if she was not a millionaire, she was on her way to become one, because she was a very popular braider in Charlotte, and she had the travel business, and people are saying she may have had other businesses too, but she was an entrepreneur. And Dejanay may have potentially done customer service over the phone for an insurance company, and we're not sure what the occupation of the others were. But again, they all went to college together, and she was the only one that was successful and doing well. And again, Dejanay stepped back and said, I'm sick of your SHIT. I think once they realized something went wrong, they packed up their stuff and took whatever money. They're saying that Dejanay potentially had anywhere between $10,000 and $17,000 on her. They stole her money, went to another hotel, then booked flights back to the U.S. So I'm not sure if they were there when the nurse and the medic came. Again, the nurse is saying she found her. Then you have Mr. Wiggins, who came on Saturday. So this is all happening Saturday morning. So they called him and told him Shanquella was sick. She drank too much alcohol. Okay, still going with the same lie. So I don't think he necessarily had anything to do with her life being taken. I don't think he knew that her life had been taken. Could be wrong. But at that point, he's still traveling, trying, working his way to Mexico. So I don't think he knew about that. He had an overlay in Texas, he said. So he didn't get there till 2 o'clock Mexico time, which would have been, again, 5 o'clock, about 5 o'clock East Coast. Now he's saying, because he's still going by them saying alcohol poisoning, right? Or that she was sick from alcohol. So he's saying once he got there, he rubbed her hair and played some Summer Walker. I don't know if that was her favorite song, favorite mute artist, or his, right? He's saying he didn't see her black eyes, but he did notice her busted lip, allegedly. One person said, or yeah, one person said that he was potentially um, grieving because he knew she had already transitioned, right? Others are saying the reason why it was declared femicide is because if you do something sexual to a deceased body, that is considered femicide. And he was known for drugging women in college and touching them inappropriately. I'm not going to say the R or the N word, but you should understand what I'm saying, right? I don't want to say those words. So, the maid who found her, did she find her with him and he was touching her inappropriately, or did she just find her in the couch? People are saying that she was propped up on the couch when the maid found her. Khalil recorded a video and saying, "We have our first dead body, 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 body," as if it's a joke. With her head slumped over, her arm was up, like she was using her arm as a pillow, um, to sleep on a hammock. If you're in Mexico to have fun, you're not going to sleep on no hammock. She went skinny dipping by herself the night. They all sat together and had tacos, and maybe after the tacos is when she went skinny dipping by herself, saying, "Oh, it don't take that long to get naked, hoes." Again, they're all in the room talking and like seemingly annoyed when she came in the room, like, "Oh, well, I gotta save my." Dejanay's like, "Oh, I have to save my bathing suit for something else." But if you're going skinny dipping, why do you need a bathing suit? So it seems that they were all in the room getting their plan together. So from Shanquella's perspective, it was probably like, "Oh, y'all didn't come here to have fun. I came here to have fun. I'm out getting hooked." And then the next morning is when what they thought was going to be a fight for the gram turned into her losing her life. I think they then got her dressed, put her on a hammock, and again, Khalil, who's supposed to be her best friend, decided to post this video. Some of the rumors are going around that Shanquella has something to do with Dejanay's cousin losing his life. They didn't give a time frame. I think that's a bogus story that they're trying to use to cover up, from after the fact. Again, Dejanay stepped back and said, "I'm sick of your SHIT." So I think they were jealous of her. And jealousy and envy is a monster. Um, I don't know if she was the braggy type. She doesn't seem like she was the type who brag. And I've had people be jealous of me, so I understand it. If you're doing well, if you are, have joy and you're always smiling or laughing, People don't like it. They want to know, why is this bitch in such a good mood all the time? Why is she happy about life? Why is she excited? And they want to do things to you, and they will plot, scheme, and plan to do those things. So again, whatever money Shanquella had on her, they took, booked another hotel room, and then got their flights out. So I don't even think the police had time to question them. If they did question them, they told the police it was alcohol poisoning, and the police went with it. Now, Mr. Wiggins is saying when he got there the next day, again, he played some Summer Walker and was rubbing her hair. But he may have been the one who called, or the maid is the one who called. Not sure if she was dressed or undressed. Again, when Khalil recorded the video, we got our first dead body, as if it was a joke. They may have put some clothes on her just to take that picture, or record that video, and again post it on the gram. So again, the people in Charlotte who were in on it would know what happened. And again, this is my interpretation. I don't think she was asleep on a hammock in Mexico. I don't. Again, they plan to embarrass her. They're saying that the nurse found her propped up in the living room. And I'm thinking she was propped up in the living room, still nude. I don't think the Cabo 6 called the police or the medics. I think when the nurse found her, she called and they tried to revive her, but I think she was already gone. And Mr. Wiggins may have been there when they got there, and he may have said, oh, well, they said she, you know, had alcohol in her system. Maybe, again, they didn't understand her English or his English, and they just wrote whatever he said because that's what they could understand. Or they were potentially part of the cover-up. But that could explain why they lied in their report. I definitely think they started her out of her sleep. She was dazed and confused. This may be one of the reasons why she didn't fight back. She didn't understand what the hell was going on. All she knows is y'all posted up at every exit. I can't get out, and y'all recording, and this had to be a setup. We don't know what she was thinking, but I feel like she was smart enough not to fight back. But her dad said she wasn't a fighter anyway. So after they realized something was wrong, I think they packed up all their stuff. Again, they packed up Shanquella's stuff too. Then took her bag, her luggage, and her phone to Shanquella's mother and said, oh yeah, she died of alcohol poisoning. Came to her lady's house for like 3 or 4 days, ate her food and everything. Oh, so sorry to hear that your daughter died from alcohol poisoning. Probably was talking, oh, she was so this and she was so that, knowing that they was on the hating on her on the low. Left Shanquella's body in that Airbnb or that Verbo and flew back to the United States, and for 3 or 4 days continued with that same lie. All 6 of them. Where did Mr. Wiggins go after he realized? Because I'm sure he didn't stay in the Verbo. And the host of the Verbo refunded Shanquella's money. That normally doesn't happen. So something really, really was known at least by Saturday morning or early Saturday afternoon. I'm saying by Saturday morning, everybody knew what was going on and became part of the cover up. Again, with Mr. Wiggins having a history of touching women, drugging women, and touching them inappropriately, he may have been doing this to Shanquella. Or again, someone said he may have been mourning her loss. But for all we know, the young lady who said that could have been one of his friends, was helping to have an alibi for it, or cover, have an alibi for him and get him out of being accused of the femicide part. But the femicide too is because she was a woman, not just because Shanquella was a woman, but usually because the woman is nude. So again, they may have taken the put clothes on her to say, "Oh, we have our first dead body." Because again, I don't think she was asleep on that hammock. They may have put clothes on her to record that video, and potentially somebody took her clothes back off. Because in the video, she was nude. So who put the clothes on her? They probably didn't know what to do. They claimed that the nurse was there for 2 to 3 hours trying to resuscitate her, but she died 15 minutes after her injuries, which was the broken neck and spinal cord. So if she died 15 minutes after her injuries were sustained, that means by the time the nurse got there, she had already transitioned. Even if the nurse did attempt to resuscitate her, I'm sure at some point in time she realized she couldn't. But then again, if they're saying it was medical alcohol poisoning, she may really have thought she could resuscitate her. They may have laid her down. We don't know what. We do know that they moved her body because she was in the bedroom when she transitioned, and the maid said she found her in the living room propped up. Her father said her eyes were swollen, she had a lump on her forehead, and her lip was busted. So Mr. Wiggins didn't see all of that. He claimed he only saw her busted lip and she didn't realize. But again, he was rubbing her hair and playing soft music. And if he was known for drugging women, he's used to women being in a certain position when he does what he does. This is all out allegedly. But some of the women he went to college with said that they were victims of his touch and being drugged by him. And he said he wanted to be alone with Shanquella. So again, the other 5, they were gone. They were not in the room when Mr. Wiggins got to the verbo. He was there with Shanquella by himself. And then obviously at some point in time, he left. And the maid says she found Shanquella's body propped up in the living room. So so were the medics ever called? Or is it that the police, when they came there, the maid called the police, and when they got there, and because, they didn't know what happened, they just made something up. Or they just went with what they were told. That part is very confusing and blurry, and there are a lot of contradictions to the story. Again, they were supposed to be there from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm not sure when they left, but I don't even know if they were questioned by the police. But Shanquella's parents or her father had to send for money for the autopsy and for her body to be brought back to the United States. And they're saying that that was about $7,000 in total. So Shanquella had anywhere between $10,000 and $17,000. Did they all split that with the nurse and the medic? You know, that again, that part is a little blurry. When was the actual nurse called? Because I don't think that the nurse would have left her body in the room unless, again, she was bribed and she became part of the cover up. Then when did the police arrive? And when did the maid find her? Did the Cabo 6 ever call the medics or the police? Or is it that, you know, they called Mr. Wiggins in transit, told him she had alcohol poisoning. He gets there, he believes them, but then realizes that's not what was going on. You know, had his final moments with her, left her, and then the maid found her. And then they just came on back to the United States with her things, her luggage and her phone, gave it to the mom and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear." But then by Wednesday, the video had been leaked because, again, they tried to delete it off the gram, but people had already seen it. So somebody sent the video or made the video uh, go viral by Wednesday. And so by Wednesday, they stopped going to the mom's house. So if they came home Sunday, they went there Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Because I think the mom said they showed up at least 3 days in a row. But once the video came out on Wednesday, they stopped showing up and they disappeared and they've been in hiding ever since. Now, we don't know if the FBI have, they're saying that the FBI have already started questioning them. But again, all this is allegations and speculations because no official reports have actually come out yet. All we know is that the nurse lied, the medic lied. Allegedly, they're being questioned because I don't think anybody thought this story was going to blow up like it did. I think they just thought it was going to be swept under the rug, like, oh, another person died in Mexico, and that was going to be the end of it. But Shanquella's parents actually care about her. And it was recorded live on the gram and or Facebook and maybe other social media. And it was shared potentially with the media, Shanquella's parents. It was shared somewhere because once you go live, again, a bunch of people start logging on and they're watching. So somebody was able to share it and it went viral. And it has continued to grow and grow and grow. I didn't even realize. Obviously, that's how I saw it because I don't even watch stuff like this because I don't like stuff like this. I don't like to hear about people losing their life, especially over something so foolish because you were jealous and you wanted to be Instagram famous for being the one who beat her up because you sick of her SHIT. What SHIT were you sick of? Because she had money and y'all didn't? And she was enjoying her life and y'all couldn't? Is that what they were, you know, sick of? And Khalil, again, supposedly being her best friend, but come to find out, Khalil knew Dejanay, Winter, and the other young lady before he knew Shanquella. It's just very tragic. My condolences to her parents and her other relatives. Um, not sure if they did a medical R kit. You know, when a woman is touched by a man, they do a R kit. I'm not going to say the word. I'm sure you can understand what I'm saying. If you can't, maybe you should ask someone else because I'm not going to say the word. I'm not sure if they did an R kit. Um, but the way they're talking, you know, they may need to do some further investigations and they may ask for permission to exhume her body. Um, we'll see. This is very, 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 very tragic and unfortunate. Again, jealousy is evil. It's an evil spirit. And instead of people getting help and talking to someone, and when I say help, a lot of people need to talk to a therapist or counselor or a life coach. Because if you have that much jealousy in you, if someone doesn't motivate you to do better and be your best self, and instead they make you feel jealous and envious, that is a problem that you need help for. That is not okay. It's not acceptable and it's not normal. Again, someone else's success should inspire you, not make you want to beat them up on Instagram so you can become famous and or take their life. Because again, I don't think that was the initial plan to take their life. They thought they were going to be recording a fight video for the gram so that it could go viral and they could become Instagram famous for beating up the girl who thinks she all of that because she got this and she got that. And I'm sick of her. She thinks she better than me. That's the mentality. And while she was skinny dipping, while she was getting naked and then going skinny dipping, they was, you know, figuring out how they were going to do it since they were there. But I think they started planning it before they got there. We will see as this story unfolds. I thank you for watching. If you would like to discuss it and provide your interpretation, please feel free to comment below. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Again, I don't like talking about things like this, but I think I, need to talk about it again and provide some additional maybe photos or videos as I get more information and find out more. Thank you for watching. As always, I love y'all. Later. Mwah.